Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday, the 24th of June. I'm Barry Peer. Welcome along to another episode of the show here, and it's great to be back. Now, for those of you that were wondering where I was over the past couple of weeks, well, I can tell you that on the show too. I might as well open the show with that. But I'd like to take you back to where the drama happened. Well, on Friday, 31st of May, I got the most devastating news that I couldn't come here to write songs anymore. So, for the time being anyway. And the reason for that, the NDIS stopped up my banding, which was not very good. So I was a very unhappy camper, as you might well imagine, because you all know how NDIS can make very, very big mistakes. And so at about 1 o'clock on Friday, my support coordinator found out that I had no funding left to come here to write songs. And what had happened was my manager was not notified until the following Monday, a couple of days after. So that's why I haven't been here for 21 days, which is, let's say, quite a long time. Well, now, whilst I've been away, I've been relaxing and being home and trying to get out to go for a walk. And if you would believe it, Alex and I had a great time last Monday. We were going, having fun. I showed him my room. We did the show there. We did a video in the park. It was absolutely great. And then the following day, bang, the good news came through that my plan had been fixed up. So here I am now back. The drama has just gone. I picked it up, throwing it in the bin, so no good dwelling over things that have happened. And now, joining me in the studio for the first time in 3 weeks, good morning to Gus and to Alec. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Barry. It's great to be back.
Thanks for having us on the show.
Well, to kick off the show today, let's talk about the golden rules about going on the radio. Now, if you're going to be going on the radio, okay, it's very important that you have a specific topic that you wish to talk about, whether it's about a performance that is coming up, okay, the garden, your health, whatever. And now, here's Alec for his opening sequence on this.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, I think that's a great sort of golden rule. So if you know you're going to go on the radio, to have a think about what are you going to talk about. and have a few subjects prepared, so you can kind of talk about things. And I happen to know you're going on the radio. Do you want to tell your viewers when that's going to be?
Well, I will tell you viewers about that towards the end of today's show. But the most important thing, okay, you can't just barge into the studio because you've got to ring up and set aside a date and time which is available to the announcer, because he has other people to interview you as well, and always have a good reason for wanting to go on the radio in the first place. Here's Alec now for this.
Yeah, that's really good advice, Barry. So, I mean, as you would expect, radio stations have big schedules, don't they? They've got regular programs and presenters, and those presenters are always planning sort of weeks in advance who's going to come on the show and who they're going to talk to. So, yeah, you have to kind of book it in.
And if you are unable to make it to the scheduled day on the radio, please let the station know in advance so that they can rearrange the program schedule. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of a good practice in general, isn't it? If you're not going to make something, let everybody know so that people can make alternative arrangements. And I think that's really true for a radio show as well. So if for whatever reason you can't make it to your slot, they can figure something out. You know, maybe get a different guest, or play some more music or something else.
And Gus, what do you think about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's just, general courtesy. If you've organised to do something with someone, or you've organised to be somewhere, and then something comes up or something comes in the way, or you get sick or whatever it is, it's just always good to let that other person know so that they can, reschedule that time, or they can reschedule time with you, or whatever it is. It's always just good to let people know.
And another thing when you're on the radio, guys, is stick to the subject that you are talking about. Talk about something that may interest the listeners. Don't talk about something that may not be relevant to the topic that you are talking about. Stay on track. Here's Alec.
Yeah, it's good to have something sort of organised to talk about. Some radio shows do kind of do a bit of free form, don't they? But I think usually it's actually quite scripted. Even when it sounds like people are just kind of talking about random things, I think that usually those kinds of radio shows, there is an idea about what they're going to talk about, and there's a script, and they're kind of sticking to that script.
So another thing, I have some music to play as well. Because when I went on radio last year to talk about September, we played a bit of music, and I back announced a song. It was called What About Me by Shannon Knoll. And one song we opened the show with was 500 Miles by the Proclaimers, and I closed the show with Stuck With You by Huey Lewis and the News.
Nice one. Of those three songs, that's my favourite one.
So, how to start a radio show? You should say, good morning, listeners. My name is Barry Fair. Travis Pickle. Okay. Say what the program is going to be about, and thank the listeners for tuning in. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that's a really good summary of how you can intro your show. I think what a lot of shows do also is they've got a piece of music, like a standard piece of music that they use every show to start off the show. And yeah, they say hi and introduce themselves. Usually you'll talk a little bit about what you're going to talk about on the show or what the music you're going to play as well.
So we're going to cut to another shot and continue. So just a moment. So, a radio program. Okay, you must have intro music that you're gonna open your show with. Like, say for example, like with another client that goes on the radio, okay, he has an opening title too. And I remember that piece of music from Sounds Unlimited.
Yes, you remember that?
Yeah, with Donny Summer, and that was his opening set music.
That's correct. It's a little piece of music. You're talking about Wenton on the Weekends.
Yeah.
And he uses the same music as the music that was used on Sounds. Was Sounds in the 80s or the 90s?
80s.
1980s, and it's called The Love Theme by Barry White.
Yeah.
And it's a very cool piece of intro music.
And then the way you would introduce songs, okay, you would say this is Lips and Incorporated and Funky Town, and then you would press the play button in the studio, right? And then once you played a couple of songs, guys, you would then say the radio station that you're on, like say 1269 2FM. If it was me, I would say 1269 2FM, Barry Fair, and that was Nips MC, Funky Town. Also in there we played Renee Gaia, Stares and Whispers, and that's how you would back announce tracks. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. And that little piece of information where you announce the studio is called the Sting. It's actually called the Sting. And you might say something like, you're listening to Radio Northern Beaches on 88.7 and 90.3 FM. And then you would say that. And in fact, the studio likes you to say that every sort of 15 minutes or so. So because they want to be advertising and making sure everybody knows which radio station they're listening to.
So, another piece of important information you must know when you are on the radio is let the announcer finish their sentence, and if you have any additional questions or comments, you can add them in later. Here's Gus.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think the main thing is when you're on the radio is you're just there to sort of have a bit of fun. Like it's obviously it's exciting and it's serious, but like you should just enjoy the experience and have a bit of fun chatting about whatever you're going to chat about, introduce some songs, and just enjoy your chance to be out there and being heard.
Yeah, so also sometimes the announcer will give a phone number for the listeners to ring in and comment on the show. Okay, because that's what happens, because someone may want to ring in and complain or make suggestions or things like that. Here's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's called talkback, isn't it? It's where a presenter is talking about a subject and they'll take calls from the general public. And so they'll give out a number and they'll take calls and they'll have a chat about the subject that they're talking about. And I think quite often those calls are kind of pre-organised or pre-recorded. So they might take a phone call when something else is happening on the radio and then replay that phone call on the studio as if it is actually live.
And if you happen to report something through to the studio, sometimes the listeners may ring the reception and they will ask to speak to the person on that program. Here's Alex.
Yeah, that's right. So most studios have a contact number, don't they? So you can, just about anyone could call the studio and ask to be put through to the announcer. I'm not sure if they'll be put through, but I'm pretty sure you could try anyway. And maybe, I suppose, if you were a celebrity or an important person, you might even be able to just get straight through.
Now, how a radio program would end, I would say thank you very much for listening to tuning into the show today, and I look forward to your company next time around. And to take us out, we close the show with Example, Stuck With You by Huey Lewis and the News, and then often I would say, I'm Barry Fair, thanks for your company, and I will see you next time. Here's Alex.
Yeah, and it's good to kind of do the same thing at the end of every show. So people like it when you kind of sign off in the same way every show. Doesn't mean you would necessarily play the same piece of music, but if you sort of say the same thing, you know, cheerio from Barry, something familiar, so people kind of hear it every time they listen into your show.
So that's how you would prepare for a radio show. And there would be commercials during the show too. Like if you listen to the radio on your way into work or on your way home from work, you will hear ads as well. And sometimes, announcers play 2 or 3 songs, and they would announce brand new songs from the new artists, or the same artists but new releases. Here's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of thing tends to happen on music shows, doesn't it? Where a presenter will they'll play a brand new song by an artist, just that they expect people haven't heard much of yet. Like, for example, I think Taylor Swift just released a new album.
And you may also hear a radio station jingle in the car too.
Yes. Can you give us an example of a radio station jingle?
Smooth 95.3, smooth 95.3. That's how it will go.
Nice work.
So that's the importance of being on the radio. And the last thing we're going to talk about the radio is being honest with the listeners, being honest with special guests. You cannot upset them. Here's Alec now.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, and not just for a radio show. Being honest and genuine and authentic. So just be you. So when you go on the show, just be you, be open and truthful, and you'll be your most interesting self. I think if you act in that way.
Because if you're honest with the people that are listening, okay, they will tune in more and they will admire you on the radio more. Here's Alec.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think people like to listen to other people who tell the truth and are maybe brutally honest, and they don't have inhibitions. They're not pretending to be someone they're not. They're just authentic and real. I think people like listening to real people, don't they?
And on the breakfast show too, which I've heard on Smooth, they've got a really funky jingle called Smooth 95.3, the More Music Breakfast Show, Smooth 95.3. So that's what a radio jingle is, station jingle is. It also lets listeners know what radio station they're listening to. Here's Alec.
Yeah, I actually haven't heard that one, but I'm not surprised they've got a sort of a special one for the radio show. Who are the presenters on the Smooth FM radio show?
Well, Ron Wilson and Bogart Durrelli in the morning.
Okay. Do you want to see if we can hear it? I think I might be in a different country. Smooth FM.
So, very often, guys, okay, the announcers will say, and we'll take a short break and take some more calls. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. So they'll talk for a little while, and maybe they'll take some calls or whatever, and then they'll take a break. And quite often they'll play a song, won't they, in a break?
And also, before even the announcers go on there, they will have a meeting to decide what's going to work on the show and decide what's good on the show and what's not so good. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's probably like a production meeting, right? Or a planning meeting where they sort of talk about the things that are going to happen on the show and what they're going to talk about and that kind of thing. So sort of preparation.
And we'll take a break and come back with more of the show. The time is 10:37 here on Monday, the 24th of June. Now, I've just given you an example of what I've just done and said on the show. Here's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just sort of closed off a segment, ready to stop and pause. You might insert your little filler piece. Do you remember you've got a little Ask Barry clip, which is like 11 seconds long? So you might put in something like that in between different segments of your show.
And we will take a break and come back to close the show. So you're watching the Barry Fair program coming to you live from Sinai's Lifestyle. The time is now 10:38 on Monday, the 24th of June. Stay with us. Don't go away. Hi, welcome back to the Barry Beer Program here at Lifestyle St. Ives. Great to have your company here at nearly 10 minutes to 11. It's 13 minutes to 11. Would I be right?
Yes, absolutely.
So 13 minutes to 11 o'clock here. And today we've been talking about the golden rules of radio. Now, often on radio you get a lot of angry listeners, okay, who are abusive and rude. And there's no call for that, because you will get told not to bring up unless you are civil and polite with the announcer. And to take up the rest of the story about that, good morning again to Gus and Alex. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Barry.
So it is very important to be polite to the announcer. Here's Alec now to open the show with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good manners, isn't it? If you're calling in to talk about something with someone on a radio show, to just be polite about it. I guess sometimes some radio shows actually like to have sort of angry, impolite people on them, don't they? And for some reason they're quite popular. So I think it partly depends on the type of show that you listen to, but I think it's a good rule in general to be polite if you're calling into a radio show.
So it is, however, to be polite and not to be too impolite. It's okay to be angry about certain things as well. And these days you can email the announcers now. And they would usually give out the email on the show. Look up on the website to find out who you can email your email. Look up on your favorite announcer and email the favorite announcer. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that's a great idea. If you can find an email address, or if they share it on their show, you can drop them an email, and that's a nice way of reaching out to them, and hopefully they'll respond.
But remember, guys, radio stations and announcers get a lot of emails. So please be patient if they have not responded in that time frame, because radio announcers, they do get a lot of emails. Okay, so just be patient. And they may even give you a shout out on their program. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? So if a radio announcer got an email from you and they actually mentioned you on the show, would be a pretty cool thing. I'm sure that if they give out their email address, they probably get heaps of emails. So yeah, I think you're right to be patient. I think if you do send someone an email, you probably might have to wait a little while before you get a reply. But yeah, if they shout out to you on the radio, that would be super cool.
Well, to take us out today on the show, okay, we're going to finish up with a scrumptious recipe. So we usually would bang on about the recap, but today on the show we're going to finish up with a couple of recipes. And
which ones, mate?
we're going to finish up with and cheeky cheesecake.
Nice.
And what about this slice here? Let's talk about that.
A slice? Which one is that?
So we pour that. Hi there, viewers. It's Barry, Alec, and Gus with you here on this Monday morning, coming up to 7 minutes to 11 o'clock. To wrap up the show, we've got some mouth-watering recipes for you, viewers watching out there. And if you're a cheesecake fan, well, this recipe is just for you. Now, it's called Anne's Cheeky Cheesecake. Now, the ingredients for the base you need 250 gram packet of nice biscuits. Now, the nice biscuits are the biscuits with the sugar coating on the top. 2 tablespoons of firmly packed brown sugar. 125 grams of unsalted butter melted. You need 3 lots of 250 gram packets of cream cheese softened. So look for the Philadelphia if you can find it. 1 cup of caster sugar, 2 lemons, a quarter of a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 eggs, 1 egg yolk, and half a cup, 125 mils of pouring cream. Okay, so here are the directions. Process biscuits and sugar in the food processor until fine crumbs form. Add the butter and process until combined. Using your hands, press mixture over the base and side of a 23 centimeter non-stick spring tin, finishing 1 centimeter from top. Using the base of a glass, press and smooth the base. Chill for at least 1 hour. Preheat the oven to 220 degrees. C. Place cream cheese and sugar in a bowl, then grate lemons and run over. Juice the lemons and then add the cream cheese mixture with the vanilla. Using an electric mixer, beat until smooth. Add eggs 1 at a time, beating until just combined. Add the egg yolk and beat until just combined. Stir in cream. Whip base, wrap base on tin with foil and place on an oven tray. Pour mixture into tin and bake at 150 degrees Celsius and bake for 25 to 30 minutes until mixture is almost set. Leave cake to cool with oven door slightly open, cover and chill for 4 hours until overnight. So there's the cheesecake. If I can just get Alex to put it up on screen now, there it is.
Super yummy.
Now, this cheesecake can be served as a birthday cake, or a farewell, or a morning or afternoon tea. Here's Alec.
Oh, mate, super yummy cheesecake. That seemed like a really good recipe and a pretty easy one too, right? Like to be able to use the biscuits as the base and not too hard to prepare. Although there's a bit of waiting time, isn't there, for it to cool down?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I could last that long.
you probably want to get straight into it.
Yeah, probably. But I think it is nicer when it's cooled, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we present the next recipe, always use fresh ingredients, guys, and check the dates of your ingredients, the use-by date. Okay, viewers, the last recipe on today's show is plain as creamy caramel slice. And for the base, you need 1 cup of plain flour sifted, half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of desiccated coconut, 125 grams of butter melted. That's the base. For the filling, you need 400 gram can of sweetened condensed milk, 2 tablespoons of golden syrup, 60 grams of butter melted, and for the topping, 60 grams of cocoa chopped and 125 grams of cooking chocolate chopped. There's the ingredients. Now for the directions, preheat your oven to 180 degrees C. Line a 3 centimeter deep 28-inch, 18 centimeter base Remington pan. Combine all base ingredients in a bowl, mix well. Press into prepared Remington pan. Bake for 15 to 20 minutes until light golden. Now, light golden means it's not too brown, okay? Remove from the oven, cool. Make the filling. Combine all ingredients in a saucepan over medium heat. Cook, whisking for about 8 minutes until golden. Pour over the cooked base. Bake for 12 minutes until firm. Cool completely. Refrigerate for 3 to 4 hours until set. Make the topping. Place cocoa and chocolate in a heat-proof bowl over a saucepan of simmering water. But remember, keep your children away from boiling saucepans, guys. Stir until melted. Pour over caramel, refrigerate to set, and then you cut into squares to serve. So guys, there you have it. And look at that.
Delicious.
Perfect for morning or afternoon tea, guys. But remember, have room for your lunch or your dinner, whatever your partner has cooked up. Well, we're just about out of time here on the show. Thanks for joining us, and here's the closing segment. It is wonderful to be back here at Lifestyles after 3 weeks, and just recapping my opening sequence, when I did find out about the funding and I had run out, not a happy camper, I can tell you, but now 21 days later, here I am back, bigger, brighter, and happier than ever before, with lots of singing, drinking tea and coffee, going to the shopping center, you name it, we'll be doing it. So we do hope that you will tune into the next program that Alec, Gus, and I bring you. And if you've got anything you'd like to comment on, you can leave a comment on the latest video. Tune into my YouTube videos. Nothing is wrong with that. So before we do go, my closing community announcement, and that is using O the right way. Please only ring 000 if you've got an emergency. Do not ring them for stupid, trivial issues, please, because the wrong call that you make to 000 could cost someone their life. And here's Gus now to close the show with that.
Absolutely, Barry. It's it's the age-old saying, I'd say. Yeah, don't muck around with 000. Respect it. Respect the people on the other line, and most importantly, respect the people whose lives are in danger.
Like mine, because you never know when I might need them one day. And it's true for everybody. And you've been watching the show from Lifestyle Today, and tune in to Radio Northern Beaches this coming Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Tune in, guys. And this is in April, a performance that's coming up. Okay, so have a listen and tell us what you think. But in the meantime, guys, this is Barry Fair and Alec and Gus wishing you a very good morning. Thanks for your company today, and we'll see you next time round. And you know where we bring the show to you. This is Barry Fair wishing you a pleasant Monday, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. This is Lifestyle Options Tonight. You know when we bring the show to you. This is Barry Fair saying, have a nice day, everybody. Have a good rest of Monday, and we'll see you next time round. Bye for now.